me, Vicky Marie, and it's my favourite night of the week, Tuesday night, Carry On Chatting, members live. I'm going to take the banner off, but thank you for being members. Now, this video will get released afterwards to the Let's Chat members too, but of course, as far as the live is concerned, it's for the Carry On Chatting members. And we're going to have a little update on Jay Slater tonight. And it is a little update, you know, because there's no massive news. But there is some bits of news. And then when I was thinking about Tenerife, and, you know, there's a part of me that's sort of thinking, should I go over there, you know, like just see. But, you know, what can I do? I certainly couldn't help with the search, but it'd just be to help with interpreting and stuff like that. And then I started thinking about Tenerife, and it's not, you know, it's not got a good record for British people. And then I remembered about the Danair plane crash, and one of my brother's friends was on that plane. And there was also the Tenerife air disaster, another big plane crash there. So I thought, oh no, I don't think I'll be going to Tenerife. Not by boat, by plane anyway. You can get a boat from mainland Spain to Tenerife, but I won't be doing that either, I don't think. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I couldn't do anything, and it doesn't sound like a very nice place, does it? You know, from what we're hearing, these bloody gangs, drugs, organised crime, plane crashes, people going missing on mountains. Doesn't sound to me like the sort of place I'd really quite like to go, to be honest. And anyway, so that's what we're going to look at tonight. We're going to have a little update on Jay Slater. And then I'm going to look at some of these sort of disasters that have happened in Tenerife. I'll be putting the Tenerife Tourist Board will be like getting my channel shut down, because I'll be telling you every reason not to go to Tenerife. Just, I suppose for me, because I live in Spain, I probably wouldn't want to go to Tenerife anyway. But if I was going to go to one of the Canary Islands, I think I'd go for Lanzarote rather than Tenerife. I've never really been interested in Ibiza. You know, I'm not a rave person. I don't like all that kind of music. And, you know, I live in a hot country anyway, so I don't need to go anywhere for a nice beach. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be going to Tenerife anytime soon. So first thing I'm going to do is welcome people to the family. We have got a couple of people have upgraded. Now, if you're watching this and you're a Let's Chat member, why haven't you upgraded yet? Please upgrade. And then, yeah. You know, then you can join in the Tuesday night live chats as well as the Thursday night. So, of course, you get 2 exclusive live chats. Get to use the members emojis, and of course, you know, it supports my channel, which is brilliant. Thank you so much. Even if you don't upgrade, thank you for supporting my channel in the Let's. Now, there's been a slight what you might call a slight update. Even the Spanish police have made a rare comment. You know, it's nothing mega, but at least they have made a comment. So this is the Daily Mirror we're going to look at. I mean, I just think it's so sad for his family, you know, out there wondering where he is. And anyway, Jay Slater has now been missing for more than 3 weeks. So it was 3 weeks yesterday. And while Spanish police have called off a search for the teen, they have said they have not given up hope of finding him alive. So the thing is, the police will never say that he's not alive until they know for sure he's not alive. And, you know, it suggests that maybe there are other things going on. Maybe he is being held somewhere. You know, nothing's beyond the realms of possibility, is it? Jay could have been kidnapped, or he could be hiding. I mean, there's lots of things. There's lots of possibilities. We cannot assume that he is deceased, although unfortunately that just looks so likely. So Spanish police say they've not given up on hope of finding missing teen Jay Slater, and a source close to the case, whoever that is, I don't know, insisted investigators were not working on the basis that Jay was missing, feared dead. Insisted investigators were not working on the basis that Jay was missing, feared dead. And they have insisted they are still pursuing several lines of inquiry. So, who knows? Asked whether the investigation had moved on and police now had a clearer idea of what had happened to Jay, a spokesman for the Civil Guard said, the investigation is ongoing and several lines of inquiry are being pursued. The 19-year-old Briton from Oswald Twistle, Lancashire, went missing 3 weeks ago after attending a rave. I mean, I don't have to go over we all know what happened. Oh, that's interesting. Jay Slater search team urged calling TV mediums with 100% success rate. Now, do you know, it's funny, I nearly said last week, it wouldn't be, I don't think it'd be a bad thing to ask mediums. If a medium can help, it can't hinder it, can it? It might give the family false hope, that's all. I mean, there's loads of mediums out there on YouTube at the moment saying, what's happened to Jay. Of course, he's near water somewhere. They always say the same thing, don't they? And some mediums are, in my opinion, more genuine, if you like, or more believable than others. I do believe in spiritualism, etc. But the trouble is, how do you decide who is? How do you decide who to listen to and who not to listen to? But yes, a lot of police officers, there are mediums that they've worked with there was one in the oh God, what was the name of that little girl that went missing? There have been mediums that have helped in cases. So it can't hurt, can it? It's just which ones do they bring in? It's saying they're bringing TV mediums with 100% success rate. As long as they don't bring in that awful Debbie Davis, that'd be good. Okay, so his desperate family have been left frustrated by what they see as a lack of action by local cops who called off official searches after 2 weeks. They're also baffled about why police ruled out 2 men who drove Jay to remote Airbnb near the village of Masca so quickly, allowing them to fly home to the UK. Well, the reason for that will be because, Jay supposedly, he did Snapchat his friends and what have you, and he was seen outside of that B&B. So he was, he did leave there. Now, whether he went back, I don't know, or whether somebody else picked him up. My hypothesis is still that unfortunately he has died somewhere in those mountains. But nothing would please me more than to be wrong than that he was alive somewhere. Jay's dad Warren and his brother Zach have been hiking through the treacherous mountain region where his phone last pinged. And yesterday, July the 8th, that is yesterday, Warren pleaded with the British authorities to get involved and help his son. But Lancashire police confirmed their position has not changed and they will not be going out to aid in the search. I don't see how they can, to be honest. So I think they're doing the right thing. Get these local experts. And then when the hunters go out with their dogs and what have you, somebody will find Jay. If he's there, of course, if he's there, somebody will find him by accident sooner or later. So the force previously offered to help, but local cops declined the approach. And yesterday, the Mirror spoke to Warren in the village of Santiago del Teide in the shadow of the mountains where Jay went missing. He told how he had widened their search from the valley of Barranco de Juan Lopez, where Jay's phone last pinged, to the neighbouring Los Carizales Valley. And I don't know if it's in this article, but apparently he said you could search with the army and it could take you years to find. Okay, so this is just saying about him leaving the Airbnb, etc. So Warren said the family had still heard nothing from the Spanish police over the past few days, and they would like British officers to interview the two men who took Jay to the Airbnb. We need to, as a full family, do a proper press conference and ask the British authorities to help. He's a British citizen. Get Interpol involved. Now, I mean, he could do a press conference with the British police, I'm sure. The Spanish police don't do press conferences. So, you know, they are sort of constrained with that. I mean, it must be awful. It just must be awful. There they are with some people that have been helping them. It's just us. I haven't got a team. We need a team to come over here and find out for us what the police are doing and what we need to do. Our hands are tied over here. We need experts. How long can you stay here for? Oh, this is where it says it. It'll take an army 10 years to cover all this. I'd employ a team of Gurkhas. Why? Warren added. Why would he employ a team of Gurkhas? Anyway, we've done the valley where his ping was. We've gone up the road to a vantage point. There's cliffs there and there's a valley and a village there. Yeah, he said he couldn't understand why anyone would attempt to hike through the brambles and cacti when there was a rough path. Well, the thing is, Jay was off his head after 3 days raving. He wasn't in, you know, so, and he's a young lad thinking that he could take a shortcut. So possibly, you know, I don't know that's what happened. I'm just saying. I think young lads do things like that. All I'm thinking is common sense. Would you try and walk through there? Where we've been today, you can see there's a hiker's path with proper stones. We've gone straight down and you end up in the village. Yeah, I think Jay was heading for the beach. That's the problem. But he could be right. Maybe Jay's not there, never been there, you know. So this is this Juan Garcia that's been helping him out. He's got a little dog. Oh dear, don't envy them. That, oh my God, what an awful, awful thing to have to do. So, oh, hang on, is there a bit more? He also questioned why no one had seen his son walking along the twisting mountain road in a popular tourist spot. From the B&B is a fit lad 25 minutes you can get to the top, to where the cafe is. If he's followed the road and been where we've been today, it's took him an hour and a half. Dozens of cars would have gone past him. We got here at 9 a.m. and the 10 a.m. bus passed us, and it would have passed him. I've been up here 3 weeks and I've never seen as many cars. The Airbnb Jay visited was rented by convicted drug dealer Ayub Kazim. So, of course, it's all been complicated by the fact apart from the fact these two guys were a lot older than Jay. So, you know, the sort of $10 million question is, why did he go back to the Airbnb with two older men? You know, why? Because Ayub said, Jay said, you know, his friends had gone home and he couldn't get into his apartment. But of course he could have got into his apartment. And his apartment was right there. So that is a mystery, isn't it? Why did he go back there? And he has said, I let the geezer stay at mine because he had nowhere else to go. His friends had all left him. I know Jay through friends. I'm not going to bring someone back to mine if I don't know them. I'm doing the geezer a favour and now my face is all over the news. It's all a bit mental. I haven't even done anything. And then Kazim added, the only comment I have to make is that Jay came to the house alive and he left the house alive. Now, of course, another strange thing is that one of Jay's friends is supposed to have ran Kazim to ask where he was and that, to say, he'd gone missing. But, how did he have his number? Also, what's all this about the Rolex watch? And, Mark Williams Thomas, he's stirred it all up by saying, it's all about all the organised crime in Tenerife. But then he said, but I'm not saying it's anything to do with organised crime. He's just stirring it up. He just gets involved in high profile cases for his own publicity, doesn't he? Yeah, but but you can't get, where's he going to get the Gurkhas from? I would imagine the police do know more. I can see what you both of you that are on the chat at the moment, you think it's foul play, don't you? I still don't necessarily think that, but I don't know. And maybe the police do know more. It's funny that they called off the search, but then they had been searching for 2 weeks. That sooner or later you have to call off the search. They'd probably been searching for longer than they would normally, So, and I can't believe, though, I just was seeing what you said there, David, about the charger. That can't have been the only place that he could have. There wasn't a charger next to the sofa, but there will have been one in the room. There'll have been a charger. There'll have been a plug-in point in the living room. There'll have been one in the kitchen. There'll have been one in the toilet, for God's sake, for shavers and things. Know what Spanish houses are like. They're not brilliant for plug points, I've got to agree, but there'll be at least one in every room. So that's all a lot of the things are odd, aren't they, that are being said. And, we just have to wait and see. There's not much else we can do, is there really, but wait and see. Now, so I want to have a look at our old mate, Paul Arnott. What's he been up to? And I have enjoyed watching his videos. I know he's a bit like, I've found them entertaining. Let's see. So he's not been making as many videos as he was. He's treated us to an Isla style video where he's in bed talking. Let's have a look.
Phone calls that I need to make back to England, and these numbers are. So it's 8:30, guys, and I should have been up ages ago. My alarm has been ringing since blooming, I don't even know, like 6 o'clock this morning, guys. And today I'm only going to be able to search for about half the day.
Yeah, so he's like giving us a treat and showing himself. He's like in bed with Paul. We've been in bed with Isla. Now we're in bed with Paul.
Need to get into town. There's a few other bits that I need to get now. I've got a SIM card for my phone, and there's loads of phone calls that I need to make back to England. And these numbers that I can't do through WhatsApp. I've tried everything. I need to get some sort of phone that will let me call like official numbers from the UK. So
I haven't got a clue what he's talking about there, because I'm telling you now, UK SIM cards work perfectly well in Spain for WhatsApp. A lot of people I know here, they've never even bothered getting a Spanish SIM card because they can use their WhatsApp. I've been WhatsApping somebody today I've got a Spanish SIM card, but I've been WhatsApping someone today who's living here in Spain, a student, but they've got English WhatsApp, so that all this about needed a new phone, then he needed a new SIM card. Now he's saying his SIM card doesn't work on WhatsApp. It's just not true, that basically. It just, WhatsApp, you might have problems with it because now we're outside of Europe. We had got free roaming charges when we were part of Europe, like the rest of Europe has got. And we left Europe. That's another Brexit benefit. You don't have your free roaming now that you used to have. But you do have WhatsApp. You can WhatsApp somebody, from a British mobile. You can still use the WhatsApp as long as you've got internet. So I don't know what he's talking about.
That's my plan for today. I'm going to search till about 12, 1-ish, guys. grab some lunch, and then if I can get into town. I need to get some more aloe vera stuff on my skin because my skin is awful out here. It's peeling. It's really, really bad. And then yeah, get a SIM card later on so I can do all my phone calls. Yeah, it's the plan. I'm so tired.
So tired.
So I've just left mine, guys.
So bless him, he's so tired. Let's do. Is this the next one? Let's have a look. Oh, it's part of that same one, is it?
So I'm still waking up. I'm pretty tired. Pretty tired this morning. I've got some water with me. It's like electrolyte water. It's actually pretty good. Someone recommended it to me when I first came out to Tenerife, and it's called Aquarius. And the first one I got tasted awful. It was like all lemon and stuff in it, but this one's really nice. So I've got some of that.
Don't you have Aquarius in the UK? I thought, yeah, we have that. Aquarius is like, I just can't believe you haven't got it in the UK. You know, they sell it in all the supermarkets, and it's nice. But yeah, there's all different flavors. So he obviously didn't like the first one.
That in my bag, and I've got some crisps now. It's not a nutritious breakfast today at all. Not at all. However, later on when I get a SIM card where I can make phone calls on, I bet.
I wasn't in bed, Heather. I was on the sofa after doing in bed one time. I feel like I need to join in with what everyone else is doing. But yeah, I did that Isla style one, but that was on the sofa, to be fair, not in bed.
To grab some more food and stuff. So that's the plan.
There you go. He's got lots of plans, but he doesn't do. He doesn't. So he just always makes me laugh. See, I do enjoy his videos because I find them really entertaining. That's probably not what I'm supposed to. And as you know, I do like the videos he sends of the terrain and everything. So, right, let's have a look at this one.
But as soon as you get down here, guys, that's when all the craziness starts, and it's fairly easy. It's not even easy. This is hard. It's difficult. It's annoying. It's really not.
So this is what I do like. I like to see the videos that he sends of, you know, the problems that everyone's facing in trying to find Jay. But Jay, to me, is not going to be there. Jay's going to, if Jay is there, he'll be down there. He'll have fallen down a crevice or something like that. And he'll be found, if he's found at all, it will be by hikers or those hunters, or, you know, I don't think he'll be found by these search parties because they're concentrating on the path. So I don't think Jay went on the path. To me, every time I get this feeling that Jay would have gone across there and tried to cut down to the beach, you know, not realizing what he was going into. You know, that's my sort of idea. But as I say, he might not be there at all. But if he is there, he won't be anywhere that's easy to find.
Good terrain, but as soon as you get down here, guys, that's when all the craziness starts, and you can go down both sides and all over these sides as well. So it's just a huge crazy environment. I'm going to crack on and see what we can do. I've got another couple of hours before.
Huge crazy environment, guys. He does repeat everything he says. Do I do that? I was thinking, maybe I do.
Before I need to sort a few bits out today. I mean, I'll be able to return back to the full day searches from tomorrow, guys. But yeah, let's see what we find. So right now, guys, I need to go up this massive slope, and it is a complete killer. It completely destroys your legs. It is super tough, guys. It's not easy. So I'm trying to just come up this slopey, dry scree almost, and make it back up to the path. But I've had a good look around here. I've been down a little bit as well. There's definitely a dog team out, 100%. I can hear them, guys. But yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. He says there's a dog team out.
I'm going to start heading back up. While I go back up, there's a few buildings and stuff that have been searched a million times, but I'm going to go past them, so it's not going to hurt to have another look either. Tomorrow I am going to be able to spend a lot more time out here. I've done a fair bit today, guys. I haven't really filmed too much. But Tomorrow I will come out. I think tomorrow, I don't know, I might start using the GoPro, guys, and just keeping it on my head or something and just filming everything.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Put it, if you had it on your head, you don't have to worry then about the. I mean, I don't know what he's filming this with. What is he filming it with? Is he using a selfie stick? I don't know. But anyway, I am enjoying these videos of the terrain. I think it's very, I feel like I've been there myself. I've seen, seen it so up close.
But yeah, the plan tomorrow, come off of this area, say.
Oh, just finished there. Not sure why. Why come off this area there? But then that's it. That's the end of the. Oh, the full video's on YouTube. Well, I'm not going over to YouTube to look at it. I just want to show you these short videos.
Come up quite a long way in a short period of time as well, guys.
And this is the video where he says that he keeps getting short of breath. Well, that, of course, I presume, is the altitude.
So I don't know. I really don't know what it is. But it just happens all the time. Just always out of breath. Really strange. Really, really strange, guys. I need to get myself checked out now when I get back to the UK. But yeah, peculiar. Now, I don't have asthma. I'm quite healthy. So yeah, I couldn't guess what it is, guys. I really couldn't.
Yeah, so he's saying that he's getting breathless. I don't know if he smokes or not. I don't think I've seen him smoking. But yeah, he keeps getting breathless. But that will be the altitude. And if he's a proper mountaineer, he will know that, of course. But look, it really is horrible terrain, isn't it?
Couldn't guess. Absolute craziness. Here is a great example of one of many, 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 many dodgy paths that I've been going down. And it's so many of these like slippery slopes, like there's nothing to hold on to. There's cacti everywhere. The rock is so loose, everything's really dry. So everything just crumbles around here, guys. It's just a completely mad environment. It really is.
Mad environment. I do worry about him. They are going to end up, you just know inside that one day they're going to end up having to rescue him, don't you?
It really is. But so many areas like this. One thing you would be looking for as well is like twigs that would be broken. Although it's quite late to see that now. And also footmarks. Now you get different types of footmarks in the ground from where people have stepped like that, and also where people have been running and they've had to come to a stop. There's all sorts of different footmarks that you're looking for, guys. But yeah, the problem is now so many people have been round here. So many people have been searching over the last few weeks. So there's so many new.
Yeah, it's true, because now there's been so many people out there. How would you know if it was from Jay? You're going to see footprints, you're going to see scuff marks, because there's been loads of people out.
New fresh prints, and yeah, it is. It's difficult to be tracked.
Okay, that's the end of that one. Have we got another one? Oh yeah, we got another one.
Absolutely hate. It gives me like the worst anxiety. It's where all the press are. All the press there just as soon as the search ended, the press just seemed to stop being supportive to everybody who was helping. And they were desperate for stories. And they started chasing me up and down the road, other people, guys, just desperate for stories and trying to label things as TikTok detective, which I've never claimed to be in any way. As everybody who watches me knows. But it just gives me the worst anxiety. It really does.
Now, to be fair, I don't think he's ever claimed to be a detective. So it would be, he doesn't. I mean, I've watched some of his older videos as well. He's not, he doesn't say he's a detective or anything. So if the media say that about him, it isn't fair, really. He's just a blogger, isn't he? He's a guy who's going out there, you know, people might moan that he's doing it for views. Well, that's what he does. Of course, he's doing it for views. That's what he does. He goes on TikTok. He goes on YouTube. That's what he does with his life for whatever reason. So, you know, I'm not down on him in that sense. He just makes me laugh sometimes. How he makes out he's an expert. He clearly is not an expert, but to me, he's a blogger, a TikToker, not a detective. And he's doing something out there, you know, at least he's trying a little bit, and he's bringing us this coverage, which is useful. But he's starting to get a bit paranoid now about the media. You'll see that in a minute.
I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it, guys. Don't get me wrong. For a long time now, out in public, people recognise me. Even out here, I've had people asking for photos, people who have been watching me for a long time on social media, guys. But like getting ambushed by press who act like really, really nice to you and stuff like that. When in reality, they're only going to write something really, really bad about you afterwards.
Yeah.
Now, the only person who I really, really trust, there's a few people at the BBC who I know, I've got some friends there, and obviously Isla. So I'll be real, guys.
And obviously Isla, I mean, he is a bit in love with Isla, isn't he?
Guys, we're coming up to the part of the road which I absolutely hate. It gives me like the worst anxiety.
Okay, so that's that one. I think that be patient. There's only another couple, I think. Yeah, so then he's in the town and he starts to get a bit paranoid about a photographer.
So this guy is definitely taking photos.
Just take it back to the beginning. So he's in Santiago del Teide and he starts to get a bit paranoid about this guy with a camera.
So this guy is definitely taking photos, 100%. No question about it. All sorts of, there's a van moving around as well. It's an absolute madness, to be fair. Absolute madness. I'm just at the bus. So this is literally the crazy stuff that I have to deal with. Go to a supermarket so I can get, I've hardly even got anything, to be fair, just a few supplies, some yogurt drinks. And there's a photographer and he was literally waiting around the corner and I could tell he was trying to take a picture of me because as soon as I came around that corner, he literally stood in the middle of the road with his camera and I came around here and he was taking some more photos. So I pulled out my phone and he's like disappeared somewhere. He's disappeared like up here. I'm not too sure where. An absolute nightmare.
It's an absolute nightmare, guys.
It's an absolute nightmare. And I'm not sure if it's linked or not, but I saw Sky News down here and now there's a photographer down here. So hopefully it's not that. I really hope it's not.
Well, I watch Sky News all the time. I haven't seen anything on Sky News. So it's more likely to be the Sun, isn't it? Or someone like that. I don't know.
Situation like that. And this guy has just completely disappeared now. He has vanished. He has vanished into thin air, into absolute thin air, guys. What a madness. What an absolute madness.
Absolute madness.
There's some crazy things going on in Santiago del Teide. 100% crazy things.
So this guy's walking, I mean, he's a bit conspicuous, isn't he? I mean, he's walking around with a great big camera. So, you know, it's like, he's hardly sort of hiding the fact that he's trying to take a photo. He's walking around with a massive camera in full view. So I just feel maybe Paul's got a little bit paranoid here.
There's our guy right there. That's our guy. Very strange guy. We'll see what photos come out later in the papers. There's our bus. Absolute madness. We'll see what happens.
Absolute madness. Oh, look, there's his bus. Oh, dear. I mean, he is entertaining. Well, I find him entertaining anyway. I hope you do as well. But he gives us some interesting, some interesting information about the area, etc. So he's got 80,000 followers now on Facebook. I don't know how he's doing on TikTok and that, but yeah. Just the way he says the guy's trying to take a photo and the guy's walking around with a massive camera. So, he might just be a tourist. He might just be somebody who's interested in the case. Who knows? But Just mad, isn't it? The whole thing's mad. Just absolute madness, guys. Okay, so what I want to look at now. So then I started thinking about Tenerife, and I remembered that my brother, my older brother, who unfortunately is not with us anymore, he died a couple of years ago. We lost him to, well, he had dementia, and then he's quite a lot older than me. He had dementia, and we lost him to dementia, and then unfortunately he died. But I was thinking about him, and I was remembering when I was young, and he told me that his friend was killed in this Tenerife air disaster. But of course, there's been 2 Tenerife air disasters. So there's been one in I think it's 1977. That's not the one. This is not the one my brother's friend was in. So this was 2 planes that crashed into each other on the runway. 583 people that lost their lives on board KLM and Pan Am flight 4805 and flight 1736. Now, the people on KLM were mostly Dutch people, and the people on the Pan Am flight were mainly American people. So let's just have a look at. So I think this was in 1977, I think, but don't quote me on that. We'll see what we say. Now I've turned the sound down because it's just music, and you know, music quite often you get done for the copyright. So there's no speaking on it, so I'll turn the sound down. You know, this is why I don't like flying. I don't think you actually, let me just see. I don't think you actually see the crash on this. Hang on. Maybe I don't know if those are the 2 actual planes that were involved. So one plane was, ooh. Okay, so I'm going to look at another video now which does talk and tell us what happened. And I can find it. Hang on. As usual, too many windows open. Oh, sorry. One other thing that I want to tell you that's a little bit of an update is Lucy, Jay's friend Lucy, and his other friend Brad. They have both now gone back to the UK, and also Brandon. So I think all 3 of them have gone back. Or maybe not Brandon, but according to this. According to the Mail online, Brad was seen at the airport going home. Lucy's been home a bit longer. She went home before. There's Lucy. Brad, this is a photo of Brad apparently at the airport. That, of course, is Jay. Yeah, so Brad Hargreaves was seen in the World Duty Free at Tenerife South Airport late on Sunday night. So he's gone home. So they've gone home. So the police are obviously happy for them to go home as well. So, you know, I don't know, the police. The thing is, when I say they're happy for them to go home, they haven't gone that far away, have they? I mean, they're only going to the UK. There are, you know, agreements between Spain and the UK, even despite Brexit. So I'm sure if they wanted to question them again, they could question them again. Right, where's this other... oh, let's look at this. So, yeah, this was the Tenerife air disaster. Runway, yeah, it is the actual runway collision, I think. Oh, my God. That's why I don't like flying. That's why I don't like flying.
4 a.m.
Oh,
Eastern
this is the
Standard
one.
Time
This is the
on
one.
March 27, 1977, Pan American
So it was 1977, this first disaster. Not the one my brother's friend died in, it was the second one. There's been 2 air disasters at Tenerife. Well, if that doesn't put you off, what will?
At 2:24 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 27, 1977, Pan American Flight 1736, a Boeing 747, took off from John F. Kennedy Airport in New York City, bound for Las Palmas in the Canary Islands. 1 hour and 18 minutes later, KLM Flight 4805, another Boeing 747, took off from Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam.
Or was it a simulation? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, the conversation, it was a mistake, wasn't it, by the air traffic control or the captain? He didn't understand the instructions properly, so it led to a complete change in the way instructions are given.
Also headed to Las Palmas. While the 2 aircraft were en route to Las Palmas, a terrorist bomb exploded in the passenger terminal at the airport. As a result, all aircraft destined for Las Palmas were diverted to Los Rodeos Airport on the island of.
Oh, I didn't know that. So it wasn't even going there. God, that's like fate, isn't it? So because of a terrorist bomb, they had to divert and go there.
Tenerife. Due to congestion at Los Rodeos, both 747 aircraft were told to park in the holding area for runway 12, with the KLM aircraft closest to the runway. Several hours later, after the Las Palmas airport had been reopened, the Pan American crew prepared to proceed to Las Palmas. However, when they attempted to taxi to the runway, their path was blocked by the KLM airplane. At 4:58 p.m., the KLM airplane asked for and received permission to enter the runway and begin taxiing to the holding position for runway 30.
Oh, David, I've just remembered you worked at the airports, didn't you, and that? So yeah, you'll probably know more than the rest of us about these things.
The initial clearance to the KLM airplane was to exit the runway at the third taxiway. This was later amended for the airplane to backtrack, that is, to taxi down the length of the runway and execute a 180-degree turn. At 5:02, the Pan Am airplane was contacted by the tower and told to travel down the runway and then exit it using the third transverse taxiway, taxiway C3. This would clear the way for the KLM airplane to take off. The first 2 taxiways, C1 and C2, were unusable due to the numerous aircraft diverted from Las Palmas that had been parked on the taxiway parallel to the runway. As the Pan Am aircraft began its taxi on the runway, there was some confusion as to which taxiway they were to use to exit the runway. The tower confirmed that they were to use the third taxiway, C3. At 5:03, the KLM airplane told the tower that they had just passed taxiway C4. The tower replied that the KLM airplane should execute the 180-degree turn and report when ready for ATC clearance. There was intermittent fog during the taxi of the 2 airplanes. Runway visibility was measured from a device 70 meters south of the approach end of runway 30. Runway visibility was measured at 2,000 to 3,000 meters at 450, 300 meters at 5:02, and 1,000 meters at 5:10. The variable visibility was due to fog that was being carried along the length of the runway. The visibility deteriorated to the point that aircraft taxiing on the main runway, as well as some located in the parking area, were not visible from the tower. At 5:04 and 26 seconds, the Pan Am captain stated that they had passed the C1 taxiway. At 5:05, the tower informed the KLM and Pan Am airplanes that the runway centerline lighting was out of service. In response to the tower communication, the Pan Am captain informed the crew that with the centerline lights out, they would need 800 meters of visibility in order to take off. The captain also noted that they were passing taxiway C2. At 5:05 and 53 seconds, the tower provided the KLM airplane with its ATC clearance. At 5:06 and 9 seconds, the KLM airplane read back the clearance and announced that we're now at takeoff. At 5:06 and 11 seconds, the brakes on the KLM 747 were released, followed 3 seconds later by throttle movement in order to set takeoff power. At this time, the KLM airplane was rolling down the runway. At 5:06 and 18 seconds, the tower controller replies, "Okay," followed 2 seconds later with "Stand by for takeoff, I will call you." Concurrent with the controller's request to stand by for takeoff, the Pan Am airplane announced on the radio that they were still taxiing down the runway. The simultaneous transmissions caused a shrill noise in the KLM cockpit, making the transmissions difficult to hear. At 5:06 and 25 seconds, the controller asked the Pan Am airplane to report when they were clear of the runway. Pan Am responded that they would report when clear. This transmission was heard in the KLM cockpit, prompting the KLM flight engineer to ask the KLM captain, "Is he not clear then?" The captain didn't hear the question and responded with, "What do you say?" And the flight engineer again asked, "Is he not clear, that Pan American?" The KLM captain responded to the second question with an emphatic, "Oh, yes." At approximately 5:06 and 38 seconds, the Pan Am flight crew saw the KLM airplane coming at them out of the fog. The Pan Am crew attempted to avoid the collision by accelerating and turning left towards the grass. 9 seconds later, the two airplanes collided on the runway just short of the C4 taxiway. Of the 248 passengers and crew aboard the KLM flight, there were no survivors. 335 of the 396 aboard the Pan Am flight were killed, making this the deadliest accident in the...
Yeah, so the KLM plane, they all died because it went on fire, I suppose. But you can see that they sort of this plane tried to avoid it by going off to the side, but it was just couldn't avoid it. So, yeah, it was the captain's fault because the captain said, "Oh, yes, it's clear." And it wasn't. But it was a total, there was a lot of things combined to make it happen, didn't there? The fog, they couldn't hear each other properly, so it did change the way that instructions are given in air traffic control, etc. I mean, I know these days, you're looking at 1977 then, air traffic control is so much more sophisticated now, isn't it, than it was. But I didn't know that the only reason they were there is because they were diverted from another airport because of a terrorist bomb. I didn't know that. Okay, so that was the one in 1977. So the one that I'm going to tell you about, which is what the one my brother's friend was on, and Heather, you'll be interested in this because this is the memorial in Southern Cemetery in Manchester. Because a lot of the people, it was a plane that took off from Manchester Airport. And this was a Dan Air flight, and it was operated by Dan Air Services, and it was on the 25th of April, 1980. And the crash occurred in a forest on Tenerife's Mount La Esperanza, which ironically means... let me just show this. I'm reading this from Wikipedia. So the crash occurred on the 25th of April, 1980 in a forest on Tenerife's Mount La Esperanza. That means the Mountain of Hope. That's ironic, isn't it, for it to be called the Mountain of Hope? It's... why is it... Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Because it said that my microphone had gone off, but I don't know. It should be okay. Let me know if you can hear me or not. Okay, good. So, yeah, the aircraft's flight deck crew wrongly executed an unpublished holding pattern in an area of high ground, and it resulted in the aircraft's destruction and the deaths of all 146 people on board, which was 138 passengers and 8 crew, including my brother's friend. And it was Dan Air's. Do you remember Dan Air? They were always having accidents, weren't they? It was their second major incident in 10 years. Well, I say all, you know, I'm exaggerating, but it was the worst accident involving the deaths of fare-paying passengers in the airline's entire history. Now, it doesn't say anything. Yeah. So this is the memorial in Southern Cemetery in Manchester, and it commemorates the victims of the disaster, whose name, including my brother's friend, whose names are inscribed on a series of slate tablets within a small grassed enclosure. Also, there's a garden of remembrance in Puerto de Cruz, Tenerife, as passengers. Some of the passengers of the flight were members of the Anglican parish there. Now I'm going to go back to this. So that started me off looking at some other things. So this is the memorial. I don't think I can zoom in. So all these are the names of the people from Manchester who died during it, or the people that died on the flight. And then that got me thinking, because where I lived in Manchester, where I was born, is right opposite Southern Cemetery. So I went on to Google Earth. Let's have a look at this. So this is Southern Cemetery. Just make sure that I've shared it. This is Southern Cemetery in Manchester. It's the biggest cemetery in Europe. We always used to joke and say it's the dead centre of Manchester. It's huge, it's massive. And I lived, I'm going to show you where I was born, 6 Barlow Terrace. So this is the cemetery where the memorial is. This is Barlow Terrace. And this is my house where I was born. I was born in this bedroom. In this bedroom here. So if I ever win the lot, look, they haven't painted. God, my mum and dad would be going mad if they saw those posts. Look at the state of it. Look at the gate. God, this garden was my dad's pride and joy. Absolute, my dad. It's a massive garden actually at the bottom. I say massive, it's not massive, but it's quite a big garden. You know, he was so proud of his hedges. You know, both my mum and dad. I mean, it's been modernised. They've had a new front door put on it, and that. Let me just, yeah, number 6. Had a new front door put on it. But look at the state of it. They haven't painted the posts. The gate's falling off. And next door, what they've done next door, they've taken their garden out. Our neighbours had a garden like this, but they've taken theirs out and made it a driveway. There's an alarm on it, look. Oh my God. Well, I'll tell you what, you couldn't have broken my dad's house when we lived there. You couldn't have got in that house because my dad had all the windows nailed shut. I mean, it was like there's about 20 locks on the front door. You know, I say to him, God, Dad, you know, we can't even get in and out of this house, never mind a burglar, because it's a council estate. It was like the posh part of the council estate because we were on the front of the road. At the back, the council estate, the back was a bit rougher, no, but we were on the front, and you know. My mum and dad, they would never, ever, ever have left these gateposts like this. I mean, I just cannot believe it. And look at the state of the hedges. My dad would, honestly, God, be turning in his grave if he saw that. So they've had new windows put in as well, because we used to have these really small windows. So they've definitely had new windows put in. Look at all the bins at the side here. You know, it's funny how you have to have all these bins now in the UK, don't you? It's very ugly at that, isn't it? All the bins. Anyway, now I once was running away from my friend and turned round to look at her and ran straight into that gatepost, and I've got a scar on my eyebrow still to this day because my mum's friend was looking after me and she didn't take me straight to the hospital. And when my mum got home, she said, "Oh my God, you need to go to the hospital," because it needed stitches. And they took me to the hospital, stitched it up. And when they were stitching it, they caught my eyeball. So I've got a scar on my eyeball because when they were stitching the gash above my eye, they caught the eyeball with the needle. So I've not forgotten that. I remember it as clear as anything. Yeah, it was horrible. But anyway, so yeah, this is where I was born. It looks so small now. It's funny, isn't it? Because, you know, obviously it didn't feel small at the time. Big bay windows. It's a lovely house. Nice council houses. 3 bedrooms. Only you have a bathroom upstairs, a toilet downstairs. And if I ever win the lottery, I'm going to buy that house. You know, it's funny, isn't it? I've still sort of got happy memories of it. But also, I'd have a plaque put up here. I'm going to if I couldn't buy it, I'd go to the people that own it and say, "Can I put a plaque up here that Vicky Marie Chatts was born here?" I really would like to do that. Vicky Marie, they've certainly let standards slip, haven't they, David? Oh my God, honestly, God, literally my dad, he would, and my mum, because, you know, they painted the step every year. It was always kept immaculate. And my dad, he loved his garden. They would definitely be turning in their grave to see the state of that hedge and the state of the post. Anyway, so this is Barlow Terrace. They've got the lovely trees. These are like blossom trees. They come out in the springtime. It's very beautiful. And you know, this picture must be autumn, so you can't. Because although living opposite the cemetery, you'd think it would be depressing. It's not, because it's actually in the summer. It is beautiful. You know, all the trees and everything. Oh, look, there's the bus stop. Oh, let me go to the bus stop. That's the bus stop where I would get my bus, Heather, to go into town. So literally, you could see it from the house. So let me see. So I would stand in the window there and look down the road. And then as I saw the bus coming up the road, I'd go out and get on the bus there to go into town for a night out. So yeah, so I found this just amazing, isn't it, how things can come. I start looking at Jay Slater update, go on to the Tenerife air disaster. The next minute, I'm at my house where I was born. And I literally, when I say I was born, I was literally born in that bedroom. I was born at home. I don't know how to get the... Anyway, I don't know how to get it walking, but yeah. So that is Cholton cum Hardy. And that's where I was born. Ah. Yes, exactly. Well, I think it was the 88. I'm getting mixed up. So I think maybe the 82 went to Cholton bus station. Sometimes I did used to get that. But I think the 80, maybe it was the 88. I don't know. They were all 80s anyway that came up into Cholton. I would get the bus there and I would get off it. The bus stop on the other side of the road is around about here. That was creepy at night sometimes, you know, because I'd get off the bus at like 2 in the morning or 2:30 in the morning after a night out. And sometimes I would fall asleep and miss my bus stop. I would fall asleep on the bus, and luckily the terminus was just up the other end of the road. But then I'd have to walk all the way back in the dark past the cemetery. That was pretty creepy, and I'd be running by the time I got here. I could run then, I couldn't run now. Running, to get home and to get into my house. But yeah, sorry, I hope I'm not boring you with it, but I found it really interesting finding the house that I used to live in. And you know what? Whenever I go to Manchester, nearly every time that I go, I'll drive past there, or get someone to take me past there. But I do remember going there. Was it when my brother died or before that? And seeing the state of it, I found it a bit sad, because I just don't understand why they've done it up so much. Like, they put new windows in, they've got a new door, all that, and then look at the state of that. Don't understand that. And the garden, there's no flowers. Like when my dad had that garden, there were flowers everywhere. There literally were flowers everywhere. I wonder if can I? No. So there you go. Yeah, it's like, but yeah, definitely would. One day, if I win the lottery, I'm buying that house, or at least I'm going to get plaque put up there to say I was born here. So that's it. I think that's the only. So we've not got Wayne, and we know. I've seen the people that live there, but only seen them going into the house. Like one time when, the people that used to live there, they might not live there now. It's a family, which is nice. It's a family house, isn't it? At the end of the day, 3 bedrooms. So I'm just looking through the windows I've got open. I don't think I've got anything else to show you. So not much of an update on Jay, of course. Little bit of an update that the police say they're still investigating, etc., etc. We'll just see. We'll see if there's any developments sort of later today. Well, it's too late now. I mean, it's still light here. People might still be searching. It'd be light until 10 o'clock in Spain. And of course, in the Canaries, they're an hour behind me. So it's 20 to 9 here in Spain. But in Tenerife, it'll be the same time as it is for any of you that are watching in the UK. So now I'm going to go in a minute because I'm going to watch the football. That's why I was a little bit earlier tonight, because of course tonight France are playing. France are playing Spain, and we want France to win. I certainly do not want Spain to win because they're too good. I don't think that England will be able to beat Spain. Spain so far, in my opinion, have been the best team in the tournament. So we want France to knock Spain out. Then obviously tomorrow, England, we want to beat Holland, the Netherlands, and then we'll be in the final against France. So so thanks for watching. As I say, I'll release this to the other members as a video for them, and eventually, I will probably then later on tonight release it as public, because people are interested in knowing about Jay. I'll edit it a little bit and put it out there for people to see, and let's hope some news of Jay soon. Thanks for being here with me, and thanks for being members of the Carry On Chatting, and those of you who'll be watching, because there are more than just 2 members in the Carry On Chatting, but obviously we've not been able to make it tonight. Or they may be listening at home, you don't know. So thank you. And don't forget to like, of course, as always. And I'll see you really soon in the next video. I will be doing a video in the morning, I think, because I was supposed to have classes in the morning, but one of my students, they're on holiday and they were going to do their class, but they decided they don't want to do it now. So I will do a video on something in the morning because I've got some time that I wasn't expecting to have. And I'll see you soon. And until then, as always, may your God go with you. Now, I've got to put on my, so I have to think this is going to be for the public eventually. So I have to put on my little video to try and get people to, lots of people have been liking and subscribing, so it's really good. Yeah, so thank you. Bye. Adios. Come on, England. Come on, England. David, you better be shouting for England, please.